supply your topics that you submit on Twitter via hashtag Table Talk, just like this really cool thing says right over here.
Hold on a second. Let me take a sip.
Ooh, I like it. Or you can go on reddit.com/r/SourceFed. I'm Trisha Hirschberger. Okay, cool. Great. Done. Nailed it.
Oh, what the fuck was in there?
Ooh, at CeeLo Azor asks, what are your favorite board games?
Oh, yeah.
What are your favorite board games? Categories has always been one of my number ones.
Really?
I love
Okay.
Scrabbles. Crossfire!
We're doing cross-referencing.
I remember Crossfire. That's the way you shot the thing.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it. It's the worst game ever.
I haven't thought about that game in easily 15
Did you
plus
ever play
years.
it in real life?
Yeah.
It was very underwhelming.
No, my cousin had it.
Cool. We're essentially just recreating the discussion.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on to that. I also
board games. There's so many good board games.
I always
Monopoly?
enjoyed Life.
Life's
Life
good.
is fun.
Life's good, but Monopoly's so good.
Monopoly's
man. Nobody
so
ever
good.
wants to play Monopoly.
Because people
though.
fight when they play Monopoly.
I
and
love it.
People break up when they play Monopoly. You lose friends. People don't play Monopoly on friend, come over and play board game nights. Because
we do.
Monopoly's
We
the
do.
worst.
No, you do.
It's the worst.
I
It takes
think
too
the-
long. You never finish a Monopoly
That's the
game.
thing. That's
Well,
the thing.
that's
More
why
so-
you don't play it on board game night.
Right, and more so than like you hate each other, it is because it's like a fucking.
It like
2-hour
opens
game.
up the Pandora's box.
It's
that
more
is
than 2
true
hours.
Human, like, evilness inside of all of us. Because
Yeah.
then, like, it's like capitalism in board game form, and everybody gets greedy and shitty. I hate Monopoly.
I mean, I like
It's
Monopoly.
okay.
I hate
I
it.
think I honestly.
Joe.
no
Joe, who hurt you?
Monopoly.
Did the Monopoly man?
Monopoly hurt me.
The little man, the man on the horse, hurt Joe.
Joe was lost one day in Montana as a boy, and this man with a monocle and a top hat came over with a bag of money. Come on, Joe!
Just hit me with it.
Did you guys ever play Monopoly on the original NES?
Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
it was slower than real life.
Well,
Monopoly.
no, it was so much faster because it did all the money for you, and like it actually did the auction when someone didn't want to buy a property, like
yeah.
real
Nobody
rules.
ever does the auction. in
But then I
Monopoly.
felt like I was like an expert in the real rules of Monopoly because I played it
of
on
Monopoly and that.
NES so often, and I mean, like my sister was 5 years younger than me, so when I played video games, it was by myself a lot, and like so I learned all the rules. So whenever I actually played Monopoly with other people, I was like, no, you have to auction it. No, like I had
Oh,
all
you're
the rules.
See, again, Monopoly is the worst, and that would be the worst. Have Trisha there just being like,
but then when
this
you-
is how you do
But
it.
then when you win, it's
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you're playing with people that...
Nobody ever wins though.
The problem, I think the problem with Monopoly is if you play with super competitive people,
She's still on her winning song.
she's gonna be okay. It'll be fine.
Look it up. That's how it goes.
I think if you play with competitive people, it starts to get a little. But I've always played with people that are just casually having fun and hanging out. And if you do that, I think it's a fun game. That might be my all-time favorite game, and the reason why is because there's so many cool editions of it. Like I have this Indiana Jones version of Monopoly that is by far the coolest version. It's all made out of wood, and it has like the Indiana Jones logo stamped in, like almost
That's
like it was
really
done at a
cool,
factory or something.
Steve.
Yeah, and then it's like the board's cool. The only problem with it is it also includes Crystal Skull and all the stuff. So it's like, it's all these really cool
But is it like
Raiders and
Baltic
Temple
and Mediterranean?
I
Like,
can't remember. I hope it is. I really hope it is. It would be way too obvious. But like one of the pieces I think is the Crystal Skull, and you're like, man. But the older we get, the more I'm discovering these board games that I had no idea even existed. Like there's a game called Carcassonne. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Okay.
But I discovered it on the iPad, and it's actually just this classic board game where you have these little pieces and you try to like take over pieces of land.
Kind of like Risk. It's a little Risk-ash.
No, because there's not really like a battle aspect. It's just kind of like you want to take over parts of land, and grassy areas count, and like you want to section off a town with like townspeople in it. It's really
cool.
fun. Really.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say I really like old school board game Civilization.
I never
Like the
played it.
old board game Civilization. Ah, so good.
It's like the precursor to Risk.
I
Right?
got
Oh, so good. Well, it's a little different.
I got into Risk in college. I never played
Risk
it,
is
and then
good.
like I said, I was an RA, and we went to an RA retreat, and we started playing it there. I
course
love
Joe was
Risk.
an
Risk
RA.
is great.
I feel
Risk
like
is
I was a
great.
bad RA, but I was
Was
an
it-
RA.
was it Seinfeld that had the Risk episode where it was like, yeah. See, I feel like Risk had a big resurgence because of Seinfeld.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was that
Oh.
episode where they were like
was
obsessed
like
with it
this.
or something, right? I can't remember.
Risk is great. Clue is
Clue's
really
pretty good.
fun.
I played
hate
Clue for
Clue,
the
too.
first time. In fact, I think
You
we had
played
a
with
SourceFed
us.
Plays
Well, we
video,
had a
right?
SourceFed Plays Clue that never went anywhere.
Oh, it never went up?
You never saw that.
Oh, wow.
Because it was a bunch of me, Meg, and Steve sitting there playing Clue in silence. It was like 20 minutes of us going
Yeah. Well, it was also my first
and
time.
moving a piece and then writing stuff down.
Yeah.
Like it was
We
all
tried to
taking
make
place
it
in our
interesting.
heads, and so it was not interesting to watch at all.
Yeah.
The more games that I'm immersed in these days are I just play Shoots and Ladders all the time with Hayden.
Sure.
You
Candy.
can play that game forever. Play Candyland, and my daughter's already a shit talker. She's like, I'm gonna win.
So she's a Beretta.
Screw you!
Yeah.
You're gonna get
Full
the
Beretta.
candy cane on this one. Then she gets a double purple, and then I just storm out of the room.
By the
Wow.
way, Joe, that she's definitely your daughter because I can recall many times playing at the Donkey Kong machine and having you over my shoulder, just going like, "Who's the high score? Who's the high score? You are, Joe. You are the. Yeah, who's gonna beat my high score? I'm not gonna beat your high score. You're right. You're not gonna beat my high score."
Amazing. Oh, are either of you guys chess players?
No,
I
I never
played
learned.
it, but I never got into it.
I love chess.
I never learned. Yeah.
God, I love chess.
And it sucks because there's so many games, there's so many like PC games out there that like there or like puzzle strategy games.
Battle chess?
Where
Remember
like at
Battle
one
chess?
point, I do remember Battle Chess. That's funny. Do you remember the one with like the wizard guy over? Is that Othello?
Oh, Othello's a great
That was
game.
good too.
Othello has like, is it a wizard that's like hanging over? Or I don't remember. There's some fucking board game with a wizard on it. And I was like, ooh, a wizard! And then you look at the back and you're like, this looks boring as shit, basically. There's
But no,
wizard.
see, here's the thing. The games that look boring at first or like overly complicated always end up being the best
I
games.
know, well,
They're the best games.
You realize now, as you get older, that's true. Like,
I realized it when I was younger.
Yahtzee. I love Yahtzee.
I never played it.
I play
I don't
Yahtzee
think.
all the time. I play it online, and I'll play it with the family. Love
Yahtzee gets
Yahtzee.
so
Dude.
frustrating to me because there's no strategy involved.
There is strategy when you play, and when you choose to play. Where
Well,
you,
yeah,
put your
where
points.
you choose to put your points, but it
I
just
love Yahtzee.
frustrates me.
I like Battleship. I'm a fan
Ooh,
of
Battleship is
I like
good.
playing a good old Battleship game.
We used to play, me and my friends, because we all grew up in the age of The Simpsons. We used to play that Simpsons trivia game all the time, which is hard as shit.
Yeah, that's
Like,
good though.
It gets so obscure. It's the Seen It DVD Simpsons, like that trivia too. Oh man.
Oh,
was-
Seen It is good too. Seen It's a lot of fun.
There was Simpsons trivia in Bart Simpson versus the World, the Nintendo game.
Oh, I remember that fucking game.
I
Those
wonder
games
if
were
it's-
They were
impossibly
bad.
They were
difficult and
so
bad.
hard,
They're
but
bad.
I liked them.
I had Bart Simpson versus the Juggernauts on Game Boy.
Oh yeah, that was a bad one too. That was a bad one too.
It was like American Gladiator.
But the ones on
sort of.
Super Nintendo were great.
Dude,
They got a lot
Krusty's
better.
Super Funhouse.
They
Do you
got a
remember
lot
that
better.
game?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember
Dude,
that game.
that game was fucking awesome.
Wow.
I love
What was
Krusty's
the other one?
Funhouse.
Bart Simpson in the Time Machine. or
Yeah,
something
I
like that?
remember
Yes.
him
It wasn't
spinning-
virtual Bart. Is that what? No, what was it called?
I can't remember.
Yeah, it was really good. Like there was the game.
Or
the
Bart's
minigame.
Nightmare? Is that what it was?
No, that was the Nintendo version. I think. No, but the Super Nintendo one, all the mini games were really cool, like throwing tomatoes at your classmates. That was cool. It was like it was like a mini shooter. And then the one where you had to like steer Homer down the water slide.
Oh, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
No, no.
So good.
I just remember Dude, I love Super Krusty's Funhouse and Krusty's Funhouse so much that like that is kind of the precursor that got me into emulators. 'Cause I remember
okay.
like being a kid and going like, oh, that game was so cool, but how do I play it? Internet.
Yep.
And the internet was shit when I was a kid, but I was like, oh, Krusty, you could get emulators, oh my god! And then I play Super Krusty
I
Funhouse.
remember a time where,
Super
like, trying to find games and stuff for my computer. I remember being like, "Man, I can't run this I can't run this game because our computer only has 4 megabytes of
Oh,
RAM."
man.
Remember that?
Yeah, I mean, nowadays it's like you can run the...
Yes.
How did you not do that? I was like, Doom
No, I
requires
do.
4 megabytes of RAM, and
remember.
we only have 4 megabytes of RAM,
and I
there
remember,
needs to be
yeah.
RAM for the operating system, so I can't play Doom.
And also, there's not enough room on the hard drive, and there's 17 discs you have to put in the goddamn disk drive. You remember those fucking floppy disks, man? Those are the worst.
The little 3.5 inches?
Yeah, me and my brother used to like sift through. We had like basically like the nerdiest store in the world in in our hometown. By the way, my brother and I used to go to computer shows. You guys remember computer shows?
No.
Okay.
They didn't have those in Schwenks,
So
though.
our local auditorium, the Oxnard Civic Auditorium, where like Weird Al. No, not Weird Al. Gallagher would come every once in a while.
Oh, Gallagher.
That was a big deal.
Hey-o.
Gallagher's in town. Like, it was the best thing ever. I never went, but I had friends who worked at the auditorium, and they would let us in after the show, and it just looked like everyone vomited all over the fuck. And it's not just watermelon. It's like
everything, yeah,
it's
right?
like cottage cheese and ham.
Oh
like,
my God.
like canned ham and shit. It literally looked like everyone in the theater puked. Like, it was all over the floor.
The poor people that work there, they had to clean up after.
That sucked. But they kind of bagged everything. But at that Civic Auditorium, there would be these monthly computer shows. And my brother and I would go to these things, and like the local commercial was the best thing ever. It was like CD-ROMs and RAM and hard drives and shell casings, or like casings for your motherboards or whatever. And then there would be like prices so high they blow the competition away.
Prices so high,
or prices so low.
You don't want to come to our show.
hilarious.
Stay away from our computer show. Go watch Gallagher.
Truth be told, our prices are way too high, so stay away.
Our products are crap.
Just to clarify,
You can literally go anywhere, a dump or garbage can, nowhere, and you're gonna find better products.
I want that to be a commercial so bad. But the reason why I remember that, not as well as I thought I did, but the reason why I remember is because when he says, blow the other competition away, it would show that scene in Terminator 2 when Arnold and Edward Furlong, they motorcycle away from an explosion. And I was like, I want to go to the computer show! And basically, it was the worst shit ever. It was just like all the nerds from the 90s. And nerds from the 90s aren't your pseudo hipster nerds. They're the legit too tight shirt and the guys,
comic book guy.
The comic book guy, exactly. The balding ponytail guys. And
I need some different copy. Keep talking.
Go ahead, that's fine. And they had these sections. I mean, I'm serious. You could buy your RAM there. You could buy your memory cards. You could buy
Did you guys buy stuff and build
we
stuff when you
totally
were little?
bought stuff all the time.
I
And
love
my
it.
brother was the guy that actually built the PCs from
Frank's
scratch.
awesome.
And I would watch him, and I would learn little things here and there. But he would buy we would get so excited to buy the new shell for the tower
the
and stuff like that. Yeah, the new casing. And then we would get LEDs and stuff and all sorts of fun shit. But I remember there was this section that was 18 plus at the computer show. Obviously, you cater to a certain demographic at a computer show.
There's some porn at your computer
fuck
show?
yeah, there was porn. And
You
by
came
the
in
way,
just at the right time, Joe.
the precursors to DVDs were things called VCDs, video CDs, and they were basically clamshell cases with the worst movies. I feel like I saw Pump Up the Volume for the first time on VCD, and I remember buying it and being so excited. But of course they had hentai and all this stupid gross 70s porn, basically on one CD-ROM, and I don't know, it was ridiculous. But I don't know why I thought of that.
Man,
I don't know what made
we
you
went
think of
all
that
over the
either,
place.
but yay,
Board
board
games.
games!
Another Davey Gravy from Reddit says, are there any jokes you've said so many times that you say them instinctively? For me, it's, what time is it? Time to get a watch.
You're the worst. Why would you do that all the time?
Time to get a watch.
I think I still go in back into phases of it where someone says that show's boring, or someone's like, that show's not written well, and I'm like, you're not written well.
That's mine too.
That you're back.
I can't stop.
I go through periods where I let it go for a
Yeah,
while.
stuff back to people.
Yeah, I can't stop.
And it's better when it's stuff that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like you're not
No,
written well.
that's and that's why I love it so much. It's the stuff that makes zero sense. Man, this bowl is ridiculous.
It's glazed really well.
You're glazed really well.
Yeah.
I love it.
Everybody does that.
I mean, but I
Everybody
feel everybody does it, but it's
That's the
I'll
easiest
never
go-to,
not
though,
love it.
if you're
I
not
think-
thinking
I don't
about
think I
it.
have a verbal one. If I have a go-to, it's literally just walking up and humping somebody.
That's Joe's
my
go-to.
physical. Mine is a physical comedy.
It's true.
thing.
Okay.
Like,
It's
I'm,
true.
I'm humping you
All
all
the
the
time.
time.
all the time.
I have bruises on my body from hopping you up.
It's funny because it's
We're gonna be in court one day. And Joe's gonna be like, "It was a joke, I swear."
God,
Steve, you thought it was funny, didn't you?
if this office
Show them your
ever
bruises. Those
gets
bruises
taken to
prove
court,
commitment.
if this office ever gets taken to court and half this stuff comes out, we're all screwed.
Oh yeah.
I don't
we're
admit
so
to that.
screwed.
You guys can verbally
implicate ourselves.
Implicate yourself.
You just admitted to humping
guilt.
Steve.
I did, but I'm not. It's not sexual harassment. He was part of the joke.
Look at how serious
He asked for it.
Is it because of the way I dress?
Yeah,
Joe?
he was asking for it.
Huh?
I'm dressing
not
too
at all.
sexy for you.
It's the hat, baby. It's the hat.
Yeah.
This is a very professional work environment.
Steve sits next
Come
to
into
me
my
in
office
the
later,
writer's
Steve.
room, and sometimes Joe humps him so hard he humps him right into me.
Yeah.
Sometimes he moves a whole desk over.
My favorite is when, man, this is something we can't really get too detailed about.
Okay, be vague.
But my favorite thing is when we do the fake stripper play, the fake strip club. And
Fake
Joe-
strip club is a fun game.
It's the best. It's something you'll never see because it involves Elliot and Joe picking a random song.
I'm the DJ.
I love it so much. Elliot's amazing. I mean, I wish there was some way.
Elliot's the stripper that has something
There's
wrong.
something wrong with him.
It's something new every time. I pick a hot jam and
Elliot
I narrate it as DJ Joe. And Steve is the guy in the strip club that doesn't want to be there.
doesn't want it. Listen, I gotta go. And Joe's yelling, 2 drink minimum. 2 drink minimum. I don't want.
Oh, lucky boys, lucky boys. We got a 2 for 1. 2 songs. I don't want
2
songs.
Yeah, it just keeps going, and it's like, please, I don't want this anymore. Like, this is too. Please, I want to leave.
The writer's room really just becomes this this toy box where me and Elliot and Steve and Lee will go crazy with Trish and Meg just sitting there going.
Yeah, well, but I have to say this.
Meg will have her headphones on and be like, I don't want no part of this
The
shit.
stripper thing though. Every time I'm like, I'm working. Oh, are we doing the stripper thing? I'll just sit there and watch because it's amazing, and I have a front row seat because I sit right next to Steve. I get to watch it.
Oh, it's a stripper one again.
Here we go.
It's
Get
like
off
Trish
the
is watching
popcorn.
TV, and this is her favorite
And if it's not
show.
that, little Spanish woman Joe comes out and
Oh,
like
that's
sexually
great,
harassing
too.
Steve in that voice.
That's one.
There are a lot of writer's room reoccurring characters that will never make it onto the show.
Or the under the desk surprise.
Oh, I love the under the desk surprise. It's the best because you don't realize, and you're working, and then all of a sudden you hear like, oh. I'm like, what the? And I look like right here, and Joe's face is like literally right in my crotch. And he's like, oh.
There's also been the times where I made that sound and you looked under and I've had my pants down and my legs up above my neck. Lee's ass is another writer's
Lee's
room
ass is
staple.
a writer's
yeah.
room thing.
That one comes
happens.
out all the time.
All the damn
She goes
time.
even more than that. We'll be like down writing, and Lee will just
Yeah.
be talking, and we'll every once in a while Lee will just go off, and we'll all just ignore it.
Yeah.
And she'll make sounds like "Look at me," and then
Yeah.
we'll look, and her shirt is off,
Yeah.
and she's just like hugging her stomach. And
Yeah. And my new favorite thing to do when she does that is take photos of the most unflattering moments.
Then she gets so
Yeah, and she's like,
mad.
let me see it! Let me see it! And I'm like, no, you're gonna delete it! And she's like, let me just see. Let me see! And I go like, all right, fine. And I show it to her really quick. And she's like, delete it! Please, come on, just delete it! Just delete
yeah,
it.
but she'll go from like begging to just like straight angry real quick.
Yeah, just be like,
delete it or I'll kill you.
I'll hurt your family if you don't delete that shit.
That's very true.
What was the question? Who cares?
All right, super last one.
Super
last one?
last one.
quick.
Okay. Oh, goodness. Claudia Tennant says, SourceFed Cooks, the official SourceFed cookbook. Who would contribute which recipes? I heard talk of Trish's family cinnamon buns. I'll come bake with you, Trish. Yes, my grandmom's cinnamon buns are amazing. And I would also say on my other side of the family, we make amazing sticky buns. So I would put those two together. You get sticky buns and
So
cinnamon
much
buns.
innuendo, it hurts.
I would include my wife's delicious beef cups.
Oh, those beef
Oh, yeah. He's got these, like, cheeseburger muffins.
Yeah, real good. And then I would also, I make a very delicious grilled seasoned chicken Caesar salad that I do. I make with a Ziploc bag and I shake it all up.
Oh, I thought you were, like, chopping things. I thought
I
that
do
was
chop too. It's really good.
I can do like a mean PB&J, like I
Nice.
don't know, whatever. It's just standard shit.
Didn't you say you have real good family enchiladas?
Well, yeah, but that's my family. It's not
I just
me
use the beef
personally.
cups.
Okay.
Well, Sarah makes a delicious turkey meatloaf I love a lot. Oh, damn good. Damn good. She also makes she started to branch out and make some really cool shit lately.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's
remember
nuts.
she made the frozen bananas?
Oh yeah, she made those chocolate frozen bananas for our Arrested Development party, and also she makes like falafel now, which is fucking amazing. Like homemade falafel, homemade hummus.
That's
But if
good.
you had to pick
Really
one of her recipes to put in the cookbook, what would it be?
Oh shit.
Sarah's shit. Now in the cookout.
So good.
She makes it herself.
Slow cooked.
Bad joke.
Wow.
Stupid.
Wow.
I don't know, man. I guess her turkey meatloaf. It's boring, but it's so good. I love it. No, it's boring that it would be a turkey meatloaf in there, not like a
But every
beef
cookbook needs a meatloaf.
It's really good, though.
It's important.
It's really good.
Every cookbook needs a meatloaf that
Yeah.
you just skip right over.
Did you
every
know,
time.
by the way, I come from a Hispanic household where we would basically eat the most Hispanic shit ever, and we never, ever, ever had meatloaf in the house. Ever. So I had meatloaf for like the first time in my life because I met Sarah. At some point.
Were you hesitant? Were you like,
Well, no, I mean, you see it in all the, like, in the Wonder Years, I feel like every dinner they had meatloaf in it.
I feel like meatloaf skipped a generation.
Really?
Yeah, like
Yeah, maybe.
my parents were not into meatloaf because they had too much meatloaf as kids. So I didn't have a lot of meatloaf as a kid. So now I want meatloaf.
I will honestly,
meatloaf was like a 50s, 60s.
I'll honestly say right now, I don't. What is it made out of?
It's ground
It's
beef.
ground beef and like bread and stuff. So it's almost.
So it's bread and
almost,
meat just like slammed together.
Yeah, like breadcrumbs and stuff, and you use a little egg to keep it together.
And you can put like tomatoes and onions.
Yeah, I
in
like
it.
to put peppers in it sometimes.
I haven't had it forever
herbs
either.
and
Probably when I was a
stuff.
kid.
You know, there's this place called the Lazy Dog Cafe or something like that. It's in Thousand Oaks, and they made like the best meatloaf I've ever had.
Let's
in my
take a
life.
trip, field trip.
So good. It had like bits of carrots in it, and it was like you
Wait a minute, I think I've been there. Is that the cafe where they like it's all about your pets and there's like dog
you can have
stuff
dogs.
everywhere?
Yeah. You
Well,
can,
let's
your dogs
not
can eat
field
outside of the
trip.
patio. How dare you?
So
How dare you? All right, who cares?
what do you like to put in your meatloaf? Let us know in the comments down below.
Why not make that a euphemism for sex somehow?
What do you put in your meatloaf?
Make it a little bit more interesting.
There's gonna be good comments on this one. I'm excited.
Why not?
Well, share your best meatloaf recipes. How about that?
Oh no.
For sex.
Yeah.
Meatloaf recipes for sex.
Sexy meatloaf.
Yeah, sex. Watch our videos. Sex, boobs, thumbnails. I'm Joe Beretta.
I'm